Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
אשר קידשני למצוותיו וציווני להדליק נר של שבת.
Amen.
Darkness never triumphs light. There's always a spark, a flicker.
Leadership is for NEROT Shel Shabbat. This is a lovely story of hope, resilience, faith. They have great performances in a perfectly curated war environment back in the 1940s. The story is so touching and moving and inspiring, and it's just a great script, and it turned out great. It's just lovely. I enjoyed watching it a lot.
Shabbat, I thought this was really interesting, and what I kind of took away from it was knowing the kind of important parts of your faith to stick to, and having enough faith in your faith that doing things that kind of go against, like traveling, that go against what is, a part of your faith, knowing which parts you can kind of disregard in the correct situations. Like, they were obviously fleeing for their lives and obviously needed to go and needed to, not wrap her hair and have her hair down, and like needed to leave anything that could identify them, essentially. And that they absolutely, like, it was quite literally life or death at that point, and that they had enough faith in their faith that they could do that and still carry their faith with them, but also picking what parts were most important to them and figuring out what parts to still honor and still do, because that's what they felt was, truly what, kind of how I saw it was connected them to their faith. With her lighting the candles, that was clearly something that meant more to her, and she was willing to take the risk, but she also did it in a way where it didn't draw a ton of attention, where if you just see candles in a bag or in a pocket or something like that, you're not automatically going to jump to she is a Jewish person in hiding, like that. You're not going to automatically go to that place. So she still found a way to maintain her faith and carry her faith with her without putting her life in jeopardy. And I think that when you're faced with something like that, where you have to choose between your faith, and that's something that your whole life you've believed in, that's something that you absolutely have true belief and, for lack of a better word, faith in, and your life, like trying to separate those two things. You could clearly see that when she said, like, we have to go, we have our stuff, like, we the train leaves today, like, we we can only pack what we absolutely need, nothing that isn't necessary. And even her husband, like, had pause for a second of like, but it's the Sabbath, like, isn't there another train? And she was like, no, like, this is the choice, this is the only choice. I thought that was an incredible choice to be faced with, but also, like I was saying, I thought it brought up really interesting points and interesting questions, like, just as a thought experiment of what would you choose to kind of carry with you, like what part of your faith would get you through the rest of it. And I think for her, lighting the candles is what did that, and just having the absolute belief that what they were doing, their decision, was the correct one, and that by lighting the candles, they were going to be protected and blessed. And I thought it was a really great film.
NEROT Shel Shabbat is this tale about World War II, and it's getting to the point in the story where the Jewish community is not safe. and therefore they must break traditions and be able to take themselves and be able to play the part of being none other than who they are in their core. And so we follow this woman. She's pregnant, about to have her child any day now, and she is fearing the safety of her child, the safety of herself, her home, her loved ones. And so you get this nice moment of a little bit of reflection of the past, a little bit of a foresight into the future, but they really do a really nice job of building this intensity of the fear. When she comes into the home and has to take off her scarf in order, she gets this heat warning, right? And had she not listened, she bears witness to the potential consequences, therefore building on to this sense of fear. And this gives her a state of, I need to flight, I need to get out, I need to put myself in a better situation than keeping myself here and at risk. And her husband sort of, with Shabbat and honoring this tradition on Fridays, they have to make sacrifices. And we sort of see potential of what this may look like if they don't have these sacrifices. And there's a really nice connection to this religious aspect to the Jewish community. You get to see this chance of them being able to still make space for who they are in their core, despite not necessarily following everything to a T in the book. And we get to see them get out and have their new beginning of what life looks like when they're free. I think the lead actress does a wonderful job at showcasing emotion and having this nice play on just her emotions at play here. They're very complex. You can tell that it looks like there's a lot going on up here, despite, you really get to feel and root for this character and hope that she makes it off this train in a safe manner and this baby gets to be born beautifully and healthily and all that.